Today I took delivery of a box of live worms, and I'm going to install these worms into a couple of different worm bins that I have going and show you how the process is done. Now, a lot of people don't know that compost worms are different from other kinds of worms. Some people think you can just go in your backyard, scrape up some worms, and throw them in a compost bin, and that's going to work. The thing is, compost worms, red wigglers, are different in that they live close to the surface of the soil, whereas earthworms dig really deep, and so the things that they eat are actually really different from what red wigglers eat. Red wigglers eat the sort of thing that you would find in your kitchen compost because they live closer to the top of the soil. They're used to eating lots of fresh organic matter, whereas other kinds of worms eat all kinds of different things. And so sometimes they need their food to be broken down by fungi, bacteria, and that sort of thing before they're really ready to consume it. Red wigglers are very happy to eat whatever you toss in there from your kitchen. You don't want to have it be overly acidic, and it can't be too wet. So what you want to do is use a combination of food scraps and what you might call bedding. For my bedding, I use shredded paper, and this is generally office paper. I don't use any glossy paper or anything like that. And this creates the right kind of situation for the worms. You just have to keep a good balance so they don't get too wet. I also usually have my worms, at least at this point, I used to have them in plastic bins. Now I keep them in wooden boxes, and I don't let these boxes get too deep with food scraps and bedding. Usually a maximum of like 4 to 6 inches of depth. Kind of mimics what the worms would be used to out in the wild. So I'm going to unbox this today and show you what they look like when you pull them out, and I'll show you where I'm going to put them. The first of these two boxes is one that I've been using for a while, and this is one that I kept over the winter. And this the worms that were in it just didn't make it through the winter. There are a few left, but I really need to bolster their numbers, and so I'm adding more compost worms to that. The second one is a brand new worm bin that I'm just starting with, and this has all pretty much compost that we saved, some of which we saved over the winter, and some which will be new. This will be receiving more of the new scraps for a while until these worms get themselves established. So here I am with my box, and I'm going to open this up. All right. Looks like they actually came with a good deal of their own bedding. You can see there's quite a few worms in here. We're going to split these up, like I say, between two separate bins. So this is the first of my two bins. You can see it's a bit of a mess. Probably shouldn't have these in here, although they'll disintegrate over time, so I guess I'll just leave them. There's a lot of really chunky stuff in here though, and too many limes. All right. I'm just going to put half of them right into here for the time being of worms. All right. Cover them over, and they will filter their way into all this good compostable stuff. All right. And as you can see, more stuff. We're going to dump the rest of these worms right in here. I'm going to mix these guys in a little bit. And there they are. They are settled in there. I will be checking these quite a bit over the next few days. Now, the biggest problem that I have had with my worm bins is keeping the right amount of moisture in them. And so that's sort of the delicate balance that you have to make sure that you meet. Obviously, also they need a certain amount of warmth, and that's why they did not make it through the winter. They have in the past made it through the winter. I'm not quite sure what was different this year, but it was a very cold winter. And so next season, I'll probably have to figure out a way to keep them just a little bit warmer. I have in the past brought them inside, but that has inevitably led to problems for me. I've had problems with mostly fungus gnats, which can be a real pain indoors, but also fruit flies. So I stopped bringing them in the winter time. I don't know, maybe next year I'll find some compromise method, bring some in just to make sure that I don't lose too many. These, over the course of the season, these that I just installed are going to multiply, and I will have thousands and thousands of them by the end of the summer if I play my cards right. And probably I have several more boxes. I would like to be able to take all of the compost that we had last winter that accumulated and put that in there over the course of the next few months. Also consume all of the compost that we are generating over the summer. So I will give you some updates on this as time goes forward, but for now they are installed and they should be happy. I'm looking forward to moving a lot of this old compost through these worms and getting it into the soil where it can do me some good. All right, thanks a lot for joining me here. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave any comments below, any ideas you might have for my worm bins, and also any questions that you've got. Also, please check us out at foodforestgardenclub.org, where we get together on Zoom chats, and we're also constantly going back and forth with swaps and things like that. So look forward to seeing you there. In the meantime, have yourself an awesome day.